BTW, FYI. Visit Nexplanon.com RN to learn about Nexplanon. It's an gestural implant, 68 milligrams radio pain. Or ask your HCP IRL. Okay, TTYL.
Welcome to another Britflix.com podcast. My name's Stuart Wright, and today we are talking CULTPLEX, the home in Manchester of cult cinema, video games, and other cool nerd stuff, with program lead Greg Walker. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, I know I've given it the headlines, but what, pray tell, is CULTPLEX?
So CULTPLEX is an indie cinema in Manchester city centre. We've been rolling for about 5 years now. And yeah, that little tagline said, it sort of covers it. We do films, and it's predominantly, cult films, classic films. We have been known to do some new releases, but it's kind of things, like veer into that cult direction.
Yeah.
But we work with lots of other programmers as well, so it's quite a diverse program. And then, we do all sorts of gaming events, which is super fun, being able to get games on a big screen. We do TV screenings. We have, live comedy. It's all sorts. It's just it's a great community that we've built for people who just love pop culture, really.
And where in Manchester can people find CULTPLEX?
So it's about 5 minutes from Victoria train station. It's on Red Bank, but that usually means nothing to anyone. But yeah, it's just outside the city centre, but literally just a 2-minute walk.
I noticed Cheetham Hill in the address.
Yeah, we're just adjacent to Cheetham Hill, but when you say Cheetham Hill to people, they think you're next door to a prison. So we tend to just say it's 5 minutes from Victoria instead, because it sounds a lot nicer.
No, indeed. As someone that grew up north of Victoria Station, it's nice to see the city centre leaning that way.
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of building more and more out here. A bit of it is gentrification, but there's more and more people coming out here for stuff, which is nice. More people visiting the restaurants, and more people coming to places like us too.
Indeed, yeah. When I was growing up and there was a thing called City Life, I don't think they knew what was beyond Victoria Station, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, it's that way now to an extent, but it's helping with just more and more stuff being built just towards that kind of the end of that road, because you've got a New Century Hall there now as well, and you've got Sadler's Cat, which is a great little pub. So people are steadily making their way more out, and obviously coming to us and all the places on our street as well, because you've got like Sparrows and half dozen other, and all them kind of places. So people are steadily making their way.
And is it the White Hotel? Is it the gig venue? Is that near you?
Nearish, yeah. It's about 5 minutes down the road. Yeah.
That was the first time I'd heard Manchester sort of bled that way. So it's nice to hear it's carrying on and evolving. So it's a place. You're a film fan. It's a place for film fans. What is it about the sort of communal experience? And I was looking at your kind of frequently asked questions, and you relish the communal experience of nerding out together, and also no phones or talking will be tolerated. So where's that coming from? What's that responding to?
It's putting the combination of them. It's putting the kind of cinematic experience above all other things, really. Yeah. Like the thing that we try to say we are is we're kind of the opposite of that passive movie-going experience. So some people, when they go to, a multiplex, it might just be show up, watch the film, go home, and that's it. But here, we prefer people to, show up a bit before, hang out, meet each other, watch the film. They can chat to any of our staff, and anyone who works on the cinema has had a hand in programming the films as well. We introduce every film, and then we can chat afterwards, and a lot of people tend to stick around, and we've got close to 200 members now as well.
Fantastic.
And them guys are quite regular, and they stick about, and they'll start chatting to new people as well. It's just part of that experience. And with regards to the rules, it is just, there's a time and place for rowdy screenings, like when we've done, like The Room, or like, there's random rowdy ones, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space is one that always pops into my head, because that was just very rowdy. But, there are times when, you just don't want people sat on the phone or just chatting shit. When it's, an atmosphere relevant to the film, and it's improving the experience of the film. But when people are just chatting nonsense and sat on the phone, that's not. It's all about the film, and if that detracts from the film, then it's a problem.
So give us for the audience listening in, then give us a flavour of some of the cult classics or genre masterpieces that you've shown so far that have excited you to be able to share with people.
Oh God, I mean, we've done all sorts. Put me on the spot now, but I mean, like this year, it's been really great to delve into David Lynch's back catalogue. We've been celebrating him quite often.
Yeah.
But it's getting to do some of the weirder stuff and kind of taking some of them punts, like Hundreds of Beavers that we did.
Yeah.
Fairly recently, that was an absolute cult phenomenon, and we just had to keep adding more and more screenings.
Really?
And that was the first time I had to act on stage about the day before we were supposed to screen it. They're like, right, who's getting in the beaver suit? Who's going to be doing this on stage? And I was like, what? So we had to sort all of that. And it's even through to kind of like niche TV things and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just exciting bringing together audiences for all these different bits and just things that people ask for as well.
Brilliant. So, I mean, I was reading that you'd had like the room. You showed The Room, for example, with and you're interacting with Greg Estero. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah.
So how did you manage that?
Well, I've been working with Greg. I mean, I've been working with Greg for about 10 years now.
Okay.
I always call him LA Greg. Is the other Greg.
Right.
And it's just wild. So it was about 10 years when I used to run Rad Screenings, which was kind of a kind of cult film offshoot of when I was at Grimfest.
Yeah.
It was basically the outlet for anything that wasn't horror.
Okay.
Really, or wasn't genre strictly.
Yeah.
So we met Greg then because there hadn't really been any events in Manchester. And then he just tends to come back every year now. And then from that year onwards, he always got in touch, and we've helped him kind of branch out to Leeds and other places around the north too.
Blimey.
He's just a really cool guy. He's just, it's quite surreal because he'll just randomly send me texts and things as well. And I'm just like, Greg Sestero's texting me. And it's very fun hearing, the very real stories of Tommy all the time, and just like things that are happening currently and have happened recently. And when he's been touring with Tommy, I've always said, like, he obviously made The Disaster Artist about the making of The Room, but there's a sequel to be made for what happened after, like, touring the world with Tommy. And There's just so many stories around that, which would be an equally hilarious film. Definitely more of a straight slapstick comedy, but yeah.
Now, we're going to talk about some of your fond memories of film in the 3 films that have impacted everything in your adult life. But thinking about reaching as far as you can, like what's the cult classic that you've not been able to get yet that you'd love to be able to show? What's difficult for whatever, maybe logistic reasons or physically available reasons?
No, this is a tricky one because it's. I mean, I know it's unavailable now.
Yeah. But
one of my favorite films of all time is a film called The Fall.
Okay.
By Tarsem Singh.
Right.
It's got Lee Pace in it. It's an amazing film. It's shot in like 40 different countries. It's beautiful. But the reason I haven't screened it is because barely anyone's heard of it, and it's one of the ones where like, will people come?
Yeah. But
then last year, Mubi restored it in 4K and got distribution rights. So Mubi have got it now. And when that happened, everyone came out the woodwork and was like, "Oh, I love The Fall," and I was like, "Oh, these are all my people." But then we tried to screen it, and Mubi were like, "Oh yeah, we're not doing screenings."
Really?
So that's been added to the list. But a lot of it, to be honest, is it's TV. A lot of it, because TV rights are quite hard. Like one of the things me and Bailey, who's the director of the company, Band of Brothers has been one that we've wanted to do for a while, because that is, it's big Spielberg, really.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's long. It's like watching a Scott Frank series, isn't it?
Yeah, so being able to do that kind of thing would be amazing. But in terms of films, there's not that many. I've managed to work through most of the favourites. So, because
I was just going to say then, so for the wannabe programmer listening in, if for the layperson, they just think you ask and you get and you pay a price. So what's this rights issue thing? What's the problem there that means you just can't pay a price and show something?
For TV, do you mean?
Yeah.
I founded Pilot Light TV Festival. That I did that when I was at Grimfest as well.
Yeah.
Because I love TV. Like when I was at university, I ended up doing my film dissertation on TV. I ended up doing it on Mad Men.
Okay.
So I always thought like, oh, why isn't there a TV version of film festivals? So I got very into that world of TV rights.
Okay.
And it's a tricky one because with films, there's always the intent that it's going to be shown in a cinema.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing is naturally written into contracts, like who gets money once that happens and all that kind of things. But with TV, it's never presumed it's going to be shown to a paying audience in a cinema. So there's nothing in the contracts. So it just gets very, very complicated. And there's no one case. Like there's sometimes you can ring up a production company like I did with Snuffbox, the Matt Berry comedy.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, go for it. Do you want us to send you the tapes? And you're just like, all right, cool. But then there's other stuff where like you have to, go to like, HBO Top Dogs. You have to get like, when I did Skins, and this was doing the 10th anniversary of Skins.
Yeah.
And obviously the cast has gone on to do a few things, and I had
just a little bit.
Basically, all of the principal cast had to say it was okay because of like royalty stuff, because they get royalties.
Of course. Sold. Yeah. Residuals.
I had to go to all these big Hollywood. Yeah, I had to go to all these big Hollywood agents and basically be like, look, it's a small room. They're probably going to get like 0.001p if we sell it out. So can we do it? And like, to the credit, all the agents were like, yeah, go for it. Like none of them were like, oh, this isn't even worth my time. So it just varies. Like when I did Utopia, they were like, we have to charge something just contractually. So they gave me like the first series for 50p. It's like,
okay, get you.
Yeah, it massively varies. It's a fun thing to go through, but like you can get a lot of doors shut as well.
Yeah. I suppose it's easier. It's less complicated for them to say no than it is for them to get into the weeds of what might be yes. I see what you're saying. Yeah, goodwill doesn't go a long way when there's contracts abound, is it? All the time.
Yeah, well, it's just that sort of thing. Like with some of them, they were just like, there would be a way to do this, but it would be so much work for us. We're just not going to bother. Big things like, like when I tried to do like, when it's big American network TV shows, like, things like Buffy and things like that.
Yeah.
That's just where it gets trickier because it's with that permission on royalties thing. Like you'd have to go to like the Screen Actors Guild, the Producers Guild, the Writers Guild, Directors Guild, all of them to say, yeah, it's okay, it's fine. There's not going to be any major profit made in this.
Isn't it mad that you in the same room you could play a record to people, charge them to come in to hear that record, and nobody would bat an eyelid, would they?
Exactly. Yeah, it's mad.
Isn't it? So I was interested there with the Beavers film that you had that kind of fleet of foot to be able to sort of go, hold on a minute, people want to see this, and I'm going to book more. How are you measuring that? Is that just literally people saying, "Hey, you're showing it again," or are you just going, "We sold out, let's do it again"?
It varies. There's some of them like that where we already earmarked like 3 dates because we did it in November with like no talent attached.
Yeah.
It sold out really fast. So they were coming over and we're like, look, we know we can do a few of these if you want.
Okay.
So then we just added a few and it just really, really worked out. And then we just ran out of room to put any more in really. But yeah.
I feel for indie film and certainly for the kind of that because that's a relatively new release, but it's certainly it was an instant cult classic. I was lucky enough to see it at the Prince Charles. It feels like that kind. It's almost like films have become like bands where like what you've talked about before about it's an event. People come, they mill around, they get to see, and if you come more than twice, you'll begin to see similar faces. And like you say, you might even strike up a conversation with someone who's a brother or a sister in your world, kind of thing. So that feels like a really important thing for film that environments like yours can emerge outside of the mainstream sort of popcorn and jellied sweet brigade.
Yeah, well, there's multiple factors to it really. Like we're in a lucky position where because of how we work, because we mainly show classic films, we kind of have the flexibility in our schedule to be able to, because we might be programmed up to December, but our program's just a jigsaw, we can move stuff around, whereas like a lot of multiplexes and even independent cinemas who play new releases, like they are tied into when they book a new release, it's like, right, we're booking this for a month.
Yeah.
So if they want to put on a week of Hundreds of Beavers, they can't because they've already agreed with another distributor whose release date's been in for months that they can't do it. So it is just that kind of flexibility. But yeah, the whole kind of films, some of these films being more like gigs and touring, and things like that. It's really cool. I really hope it becomes more of a thing because like we did as well, The People's Joker by Vera Drew. And that did really, really well. It's like a kind of a trans allegory, like using Batman and the Joker. It's really, really great.
Okay.
Like that sold out for us, and I'm fairly certain it sold out the Prince Charles when it did there as well.
Yeah.
And it's just films like that are coming over that are 100% or mostly independently distributed.
Yeah.
Mainly because distributors were like, we don't really care about this, but then they've made loads of money. Like Hundreds of Beavers, independently distributed, and it's made over $1 million. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's
bad.
It's great. It's great to hear. It's exciting because, and also, it sort of proves, doesn't it, that you can the old adage of no one knows anything, and also as filmmakers, trying to second guess the film market is you kill yourself before you start. And just, I now live just outside Nottingham, and my local community cinema, which is basically, they set up a screen in what is essentially a school theatre. So it's got lovely bleachers and it's got a big white screen. And he integrates the film quiz with what you got. And as you walk in, he shows you to your seat, which is just amazing. My first time I went, it's called the Chilwell Arts Theatre. The first time I went, Greg, he went, "You must be Stuart." And I was like, this is amazing. It's like, he shows me to my seat and then, watch the films. A couple of weeks later, I'm just thinking of that Fleet of Foot thing you're talking about, and I think it's shown the Clint Eastwood film, The 12th Juror, and which was a bit more sort of morally ambiguous kind of film than I thought they might show. And then he sort of says, "Has anybody seen Zone of Interest?" And they're like, no. And he says, I try and stay away from subtitle movies, but it's one of the best films I've ever seen. Would anybody? And he explained a bit about what it was, and he just did it on a show of hands in the room. 2 weeks later, it was on.
Class. Yeah, we love that. I mean, we try to do that with our punters. We have the suggestion box outside every single screening.
Yeah.
We encourage people to put them in, and we keep track of absolutely every suggestion that people put in. And then when it gets to, there's a combination, like when it gets to a few people who've said it already, then we're like, right, yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And then there's some things, because obviously, we can't have seen every film ever.
Of course.
But like with our kind of, commercial and programming knowledge, there might be some films that are put in there, which only one person's put, but we're like, oh shit, yeah, that would actually be a great shout, that we just haven't thought of. And, we always give credit to them people, and our members, they've recommended a lot to us. Like loads of them absolutely love like Hong Kong martial arts films.
Yeah.
And so when we were programming the BFI action season stuff last year, there's so many of the things that they've been begging us to play for ages. Like, right, come on, now's the time.
So can I ask you then, for somebody who might be have a boring cinema scene where they are and they're thinking, I want some more interesting movies, what advice would you give to someone setting up with who might get access to a space, obviously not a bar or something like that? What advice would you give them in terms of getting something going themselves?
I mean, just do it. I mean, there's kind of more official ways to do it, but I always just say, just take the more punk rock route. Just go for it. A lot of, pubs and maybe community centres and places like that, some of them should have a projector.
Yeah.
But you can also look to see if there's people also just do a bit of research. There might be somebody in neighbouring towns who might have equipment that they might lend, or they might be able to advise on venues. But a good resource is, if you are wanting to do it on that kind of community level, there's an organisation called Cinema for All.
Mm-hmm.
So they help, their entire mission is community cinemas and helping them with equipment. And they have lots of advice and funding.
Wow.
For cinema, in community cinema screenings. But there's also the Independent Cinema Office too. And that's just a resource online which tells you everything that you'd need to do a screening. Brilliant. Basically. But the main thing is just do it anywhere where you can get a screen up, or you don't even need a projector. There's some guys called Mondo Queero in Manchester they've started putting on screenings, and because of the size of the room, they just put massive TV in there, and it's bigger than some projection screens. So and people, that's sold out multiple times. You don't need traditional projection. You can, it is that communal aspect. It's getting people together. Like,
go for the vibes, not the 4DX.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm, because of, my job, I'm, very picky about projection quality and stuff like that. But, like, most normal people aren't. So, you can just do whatever you want. Yeah.
Brilliant. Now, people can find out what's showing and when it's showing at cultplex.co.uk. But let's remind people, physically, where can they find you?
Yeah, so we're at 50 Red Bank. So it's just a 5-minute walk from Victoria Station. It's really easy to get to. There's all sorts of things on our website about how to get to us. But yeah, it's Manchester City Centre, just a couple of minutes outside of it on foot. Brilliant.
Right then, moving swiftly along, we are going to talk about 3 films, 2 films and a TV series. It's okay, you're not the first. I've had 2 films and a video game, so you're not the first to break out the lines. Or in fact, I had one person say to me, all the films by this director for one choice. I'm like, that's cheating, surely. But anyway.
Yeah, it's taking a piss, that.
So, yes. So you give me 2 films and a TV series. We're going to talk about those for 5 minutes at a time. And when we hear this sound, you can hear that at your end?
I can hear that at my end, loud and clear.
Superb. When you hear that sound, that means 5 minutes are up. And we move on to the next film. Does that seem fair?
Absolutely. Right
then. Let us start with the... are you taking the red pill or the blue pill? 1999's The Matrix. Why does this film hold such fond memories for you, and why does it have such an impact on you?
Well, it was, I always say to people, and it makes sense to them, this was my Star Wars, essentially. Like, I was 9 when it came out.
Okay.
And it was my dad had bought, like, a DVD player, and The Matrix was one of the first DVDs that we had.
Right.
So I sat there as, like, a little 10-year-old watching that, and I was just like, whoa, what is this? Like, literally, from the very start. And then it was, the lobby scene is probably my most watched scene of all time of anything, because as a kid I just used to rewatch that again and again, because I was like, this is just absolutely amazing. But it just,
for those that may not have seen the lobby scene, tell us what the lobby scene involves and why it's so rewatchable.
Well, I mean, just imagine a little 10-year-old sitting there, and so the scene is Neo and Trinity, they walk into the lobby of this skyscraper and go through a metal detector. And it beeps, and then the security guard's like, oh, could you open your jacket, take out any keys or anything? And then Neo, the main character, just opens up his trench coat, and it's just lined with machine guns. And then from there, it is just a battle between basically 2 people and what seems like an entire militia in this lobby, just going around in slow motion, doing cartwheels whilst firing guns. It's just the best. It is... Yeah, it's just pure cinema to me. But it was interesting, The Matrix. It just impacted a lot of different aspects of my life. Like, it made me fall in love with film.
Okay.
And, like, the possibilities of film. And, like, it made me fall in love with science fiction. It made me fall in love with martial arts films. But also, like, the biggest sort of secondary one is, hearing Rage Against the Machine at the end of that film was like a massive moment for me, because my parents weren't into music or anything like that, so like I heard that was my first proper time like just hearing metal and being like, oh, what's this music? So like listening to that soundtrack, and then that leading me to the first albums I ever bought, and then like music's just as big a part of my life as film is, so it led to a lot of stuff, and I absolutely adore it.
Hey there, Hugh from Moderation here. If you like today's show, then why not have a listen to Why We Roll, the dedicated TTRPG design podcast. It's hosted by Wythe and Chris, 2 professional TTRPG designers, and it's all about talking to the people that make our favourite games in the tabletop world and understanding what goes into that decision-making process. How you build something that's not just fun to play, but fun to experience. And we're not talking about how we roll, but learning why exactly we make those decisions. Check it out on our website at poderation.com.